You are now listening to Mighty Champions Action Figure Radio.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Mighty Champions Action Figure Radio. My name is John Sargent.
And my name is Christian McGann.
And if you are interested in toys and action figures, you have come to the right place because that is what we do. Today, we have got an awesome show. We're going to go through toys that were peg warmers initially and then turned into eBay powerhouses later on. We're going to give you our figures that we personally wish would have taken off and were peg warmers or duds back in the day. We're going to go through all the figure news, and we're also got our weekly segment, the figure flashback from our toy soldiers. Before we get into all of that, though, I need you guys to leave us a review. It's super helpful for us. It means the world for us. It means that we can grow, and more people will find us, and more people will have fun talking about action figures. It's 30 seconds for you. So we would really appreciate that.
Only good reviews, also. You got something bad to say, take it outside.
Oh, yeah, we could take this outside.
Yeah.
So we would really appreciate it if you guys would leave us some reviews. All right. Christian, what have you been up to in the toy world or otherwise this week?
Dude, I've been outside the toy world. I haven't bought a toy in a long time, but hopefully it'll change soon. I need to just get on it, man. I mentioned before about my gripes with wanting to do eBay and how for some reason it just doesn't provide the same level of joy that I want it to. But I'm thinking maybe in the next couple weeks or months or something like that, taking some treks, getting out to a toy store. But for the most part,
I can tell you that I had a really light weekly purchases, and when you were on your way here, I didn't want to put a 0 on the board, so I just jumped on eBay and bought something.
See, you know what? Darn it. It was funny because I was just hitting right now. I left the cage and then I had some time to kill because it was like 2:15. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll just go pick up a Bang energy drink, get locked in, a little protein bar action. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll go kill some time at Collector's Crossroads or another toy store. And then I was like, or just not, because they're not going to have anything new, and I don't even want to be in an awkward position where I'm just walk in and walk out, basically. So held off from that, sat in a parking lot for a little while. But man, same old. Like I said, I'm a creature of habit, and so I haven't really been up to too much. What about you?
Outside of toys, I haven't really, it was kind of a quiet week, just like a nice smooth week doing like kickboxing and work and everything. But the podcast, our conversations on the podcast did cause me to watch Jurassic Park 2 and Jurassic Park 3, because we were talking about that last week.
Yeah, really quick before, because this was funny. Last week we talked about, obviously, RoboCop. We also talked about Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
And I had a couple people, like 3 people, I think, like message me and reach out about like almost the same thing. Is the scene that I mentioned about the kid getting his face ripped off in Pet Sematary, and it was just like, bro, I was tormented by that part. Whatever.
It has to be Pet Sematary 2.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
yeah. Somebody confirmed it, and but yeah, it was funny. Like 3 people literally just like just all texted me and was like, "Hey, dude, same." I think even Nick said that he was traumatized by Nick, the team captain of my baseball team. He texted me and said he was traumatized by the cyborg ninja from RoboCop 3 or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's funny. Yeah. So it ties back into what we said about just like little kids watching these R-rated things that you're like, we think we can do it, but then afterwards you're like, I think I need to go to church tomorrow.
So stay with me.
Okay.
So I watched the 3 Jurassic Parks.
Yeah.
Kind of, obviously the first one's like an absolute masterpiece. I stand by what I said on the episode. The second one is dog water. And the third one's like watchable. The third one's like good. I agree that if that was your introduction, then that would be your JP.
Right.
That's great. I also, the night that we recorded, I was like, I want to watch one of the R-rated childhood movies that created this interest in the toys. Like the topic that we were talking about gets me boned up, and then I was like, and I have my like letterboxd list, right? Mm-hmm. So I need something that I haven't already watched and put on my rankings. Well, a lot of the movies that came to mind weren't. I'd already watched them, so that's why I ended up watching Jurassic Park. But later in the week, I realized I hadn't watched Rambo 3 or 4 since I've been keeping this list. So I was like, yes, I get to watch these Rambo movies. Third one is like, if that's the one you don't watch, you'd be fine. If you do watch it, it's fine. Like, I really don't have anything to say about it, honestly. Mm-hmm. Rambo 4 from 2008 made me think about what you're talking about. Like, I need to go to church. Like, I am 42 years old, and I was sure that an adultier adult than me was going to catch me watching it and turn it off. And tell me that, like this is going to mess up your brain. You shouldn't be watching this. That movie's awesome.
Dude, yeah. I need to rewatch it. Oh, I guess I did. I didn't talk about this, but I did watch, and I told you this, that I watched Rambo 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like from like in a cognitive brain, whereas the last time I saw it, it was younger. So being able to see it now, I was like, yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Like literally I was telling you, like the dialogue with it, the violence, everything, like really nothing was like, oh, this is like corny or cheesy or whatever. It's like, no, they took that movie serious.
Yeah.
Like they just took it serious. It's like this dude who's battling trauma who goes in there. I will say that it was really difficult for me to separate some parts because more recently and more often I watched Hot Shots Part 2, which is heavily based off of Rambo Part 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And so there were scenes that I saw in Rambo 2 that I was like, whoa, that's from... I wanted to be like, that's from Hot Shots. But then I'm like,
they copied this from Hot Shots.
But it's funny because like the snake that like is like coming out of the tree behind him and then he catches it.
Yeah.
That happens in Hot Shots too, and then he pulls it and then it turns. And then his knife, because he's like cutting barbed wire with his knife. But in Hot Shots... the knife.
It has a chainsaw?
No. It's like little scissors or like little like wire cutters that come out and clip it. Yeah. And I was like, that's crazy. Even the scene where I was like, how did they even... It was so minimal in Rambo 2 that how did they just think to themselves, oh, I'm going to put that in... Because you know they were watching it and then taking notes of what we're going to copy.
Oh, for sure.
Because the scene when the girl, like, she gets him out when he was being like tortured on the like mattress thing where in Hot Shots it's Colonel Troutman and popcorn's coming out of his shirt, but then like she tears like a piece of her clothing and then wraps him up, and then but in Hot Shots
they all come up with an injury.
They all have injuries and she keeps tearing her shirt off and even more so. I was like, that's crazy.
It's stuff that when you watch it isn't even something you go, oh, that needs to be made fun of.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's just that's hilarious. Yeah. That's amazing. So the podcast got me motivated to watch a bunch of stuff. And then as far as toys go, I think I mentioned last week that I had ordered the retro card Sandman and J. Jonah Jameson.
You did, and
on Walmart.
And that you were like, for some reason it says they're going to be here today.
Yeah. So here's what happened. I get the notification later on that night, like late that night, like 9:00.
You up?
Walmart was like, you up? And I was like, oh, it's actually going to happen. And it was like, your delivery is going to happen at 9:04. And I was like, okay. And then like I think I was watching Jurassic Park or something. And like in a blink, ding dong, I'm like, oh shit. And I go, there's a package sitting on the door, Walmart bubble wrap.
Just dog poop on fire.
I go, I'm super stoked. I rip it open. The only thing inside of it is Sandman.
Okay.
And I go, that's weird that they would send it in 2 orders, but whatever. Mm-hmm. So Sandman's dope. Actually, it's all right. Like it's the engineering of it is kind of wrong. Where his like club hands and stuff has this extra piece that slides over the wrist, and it prevents the peg from going into the hole.
Okay.
So like, and then on mine, the torso articulation is frozen.
Yeah, I see that. He looks blocky. He almost looks like he has like less articulation.
It's not great, and I'm sure they will do an updated version, and I'll buy that. So I'm like, okay. Then I get a text from Walmart that's like, your package is delayed. Talking about J. Jonah Jameson. And I'm like, okay. And, you know, you look at, like, the status, it was, like, order, you know, shipped, out for delivery, and then, like, delayed. So, like, it almost came to my house. Then the next day, they just cancel the order and go, we don't have that. So I'm like, Walmart? Curse you? Like, I was livid. So now I'm back in these Walmarts looking for J. Jonah Jameson. Like, we're looking for that new shelf wall collector thing or whatever it is. Me and all the John Cena fans just walking in Walmart, crying and turning around and walking out.
John Rorschach's journal. Yeah, dude, so the Sandman that I really want is one that I had when I was younger. The Toy Biz Spider-Man Classic Sandman.
I can picture it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's got a picture of Spider-Man on the box, but Sandman in
exactly.
there.
It's expensive though, which is it's weird because a lot of the toys in that line are like crazy expensive or they're cheap. There's like almost no. It's like what makes something, you know, like so valuable, but in the same line. It's really bizarre. But I remember I had that figure and I was really stoked on it. I think I brought it to church when I was younger, and showed this guy who was like who introduced me to a lot more comics and stuff like that. And he's like, "Whoa, this looks like Henry Rollins." And I was like, "Yeah, it does."
You have no idea who.
I have no idea who that is.
You still don't.
I do now, obviously. But what's funny about it is it does look like Henry Rollins.
It does look like Henry Rollins, yeah.
And I remember that, I don't know, I probably told people that every time that figure got brought up, that it looked like Henry Rollins. And like, how do you know who that is? I was like, I do. And then it was like, yeah, so I didn't even know. I guess he was like Rollins Band or something like that. There was a Black Flag and the Rollins Band or whatever. Yeah. So... some lore for y'all out there.
Yeah, and then like I said, I realized when you were on your way here, I had a zero purchase week, and I couldn't be that guy. So I jumped on eBay and I pulled the trigger on the 10-inch Green Arrow.
Cool.
So that should be here pretty soon, and I got it crazy cheap. It was $12.
Holy crap! All right.
Yeah.
Today's the day.
Today's the day. $12 and like I don't even know, like $8 shipping or something like that.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
So yeah.
I just wish, dude. Again. Ties back in, but it's like, man, I wish I could just go, like right now, if I just left here, went to, you know, X, Y, and Z toy store, and just could buy something. But even if I go there with the intent to buy, it's just like, all right, well.
So I was chatting with somebody on Instagram at Mighty Champions, and they were asking me about a specific, hey, do you know where I could maybe find this? And I was like, not in Austin. Yeah. I'll tell you that. You're going to have to leave Austin.
Just you smoking a cigarette in a dark room, just like an X-Files episode where you're like, you ain't going to find it here, boy.
I'm sure you guys listen to this podcast. This podcast probably does to people what YouTube videos do to me, where I watch videos of a toy store, see people bringing in giant tubs of the stuff I'm interested in, and then get sad that there's no chance I'm ever going to encounter that where I live.
Yeah.
Like, oh, somebody just sold us this massive, you know, Playmates Ninja Turtle set, or this, like, that's never going to happen here. Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of like we have to leave.
Hey, you never say never. You know, well, you never know. 5 years down the line, there might be Mighty Champions toy store.
Not if people don't review the show, there won't.
That's true.
Give us some damn reviews, and then we might get our own toy store. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to this week. Let's get to the Toy Soldier figure flashback. So we started doing this because we wanted to hear from you guys about the enthusiasm that you have for, honestly, whatever you have it for. If it's for a toy, if it's for an action figure, if it's for a cool stick or a shiny rock. I'm just interested in your love for your thing. So you guys can send stuff to us at Mighty Champions on Instagram, or you can email it to us at mightychampionsafr@gmail.com. Honestly, that would be preferred because I'd love to hear your voice. Really, send a voice memo. Send a voice memo to the email, because then your enthusiasm will come across really strong that way. Right now, though, we have got a message from Joseph Iden, I'm sorry if I got that wrong. And he's a big G.I. Joe guy. So he said his toy soldier figure Flashback is pretty basic and suspect it is for a lot of guys my age. I'm a bit older than you guys, so hear me out. I always really liked playing with action figures, no surprise. When it came to my play scenarios, I liked setting up dangerous situations or rescues. One man, sometimes two, against all the odds to complete a mission or rescue someone in danger. Climbing a sheer cliff, dangling across a gorge, surviving a dangerous, uncharted jungle. Nothing, I mean nothing, fit that bill better than the G.I. Joe Adventure Team. I was first exposed to them by an uncle of mine who wasn't too much older than me. Now he had all the military-themed Joes, especially the space and NASA stuff, the capsule, spacewalk suit, etc. I loved this stuff. By the time I realized I wanted my own, I had discovered the Adventure Team with lifelike hair, beard, kung fu grip, which I happen to think is the best innovation Hasbro ever did to the original 12-inch Joes, and eagle eyes. I had a ton of this shit in a very short time. Within a year or so, I had 3 Joes and a ton of the single-carded adventure sets. I always kept this stuff together and in as best shape as possible. I was storing my accessories in plastic Ziploc bags long before anyone else. I never had the headquarters or the mobile command center, but I did get the 6-wheeled yellow vehicle from a neighbor. I did have the red version of that vehicle called Troubleshooter. This thing was awesome. Check it out. Check out some pics online. I had a ton of the equipment sets, emergency raft, backpack, escape bike, aerial recon, the wind boat, jungle survival, dangerous climb. I could go on. My mom would give me shoe boxes to keep all my Joe stuff in. I only had 1 foot locker that I quickly filled up. I was also displaying these guys on a bookshelf in my room, again, long before that became a thing. I also had Bullet Man, which, to be honest, was a bit of a disappointment. A superhero playing with my Joes just didn't seem right. This was my thinking at that age. My brother, who really wasn't into G.I. Joes to the nth degree like I was, did play with me sometimes, but one Christmas, and given my love for G.I. Joe Adventure Team, I still can't figure this out. He got Mike Powers, the Atomic Man, and his secret mountain outpost. Why the hell didn't I get that? This was a cool figure. That Christmas, I got a second Eagle Eye Joe and more adventure sets. I distinctly remember Missile Recovery and Flying Rescue. Anyway, Adventure Team G.I. Joe was so important to me, I could tell you stories. Stories that involve my mom helping me out with playing, stories of my backyard adventures, stories in my bedroom setting up impossible adventures that only G.I. Joe could accomplish. If I had to pick the best boys' toys ever released, and I know this is a pure nostalgia and love, I would have to say the original G.I. Joe 12-inch figures. In my mind, nothing has come close as far as play value. And remember, this was an in-house creation of Hasbro, not based on any exciting property like everything else is today. Keep up the great work on the podcast. I'm a big fan. That is awesome, Joseph.
Dude, I'm getting chills.
He's telling me that I'm getting fired up. I almost wish there was a camera in here and it was behind me and I'm putting the headband on like Rambo. That's what I felt like. I'm like, let's pause this and go play outside because, man,
I'm telling you.
Amazing stuff.
That is great.
Amazing
Thank you,
stuff.
Joseph, for sending that in. That
Love
is
it.
So that's what's so perfect about it, is that it's like the many wars that have taken place in the mind of a child, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, there's no way, like, to even, I mean, that's a perfect way to explain it, of just like what he envisioned, you know what I'm saying?
It's just forever memories.
I love that.
Love that. You guys can send your figure flashbacks to us, mightychampionsafr@gmail.com, or send them to me on Instagram at mightychampions.
Toxic Crusaders. The Toxic Crusaders have 2 new members. Junkyard, a mutation with a taste for doggy bones, and Headbanger, half-mad scientist, half-party animal. They've joined to keep Dr. Killamoff and Psycho, his cybernetic sidekick with a bionic brain, from polluting and conquering the Earth. Also, because good guys get the babes.
You don't have to be toxic to be popular, but it helps.
Toxic Crusaders! They're gross!
But they still get girls. Hideously deformed action figures from Playmates.
All right, let's do our peg warmer to Powerhouse. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a really unique segment on the show in the sense that it doesn't come from a place of love for you and I.
Yeah.
Well, not between you and I.
Yes.
There's in a brotherly sense. Anyways, not to get too deep, but so what we're talking about here is figures that bombed when they came out.
Yeah.
And then are currently monsters on the aftermarket. And what I did is I went to the internet and I kind of cross-referenced like what has huge sales now on, big high-ticket items on eBay that really didn't go anywhere when it first came out, and I generated a list of 10 lines.
Okay.
So this doesn't have anything to do with stuff that we like. And I'll be totally honest with you guys, I don't even know what half of this stuff is.
Yeah.
And so as we're going through this, we'll learn about it together. And it might be stuff that you guys are in love with and that we have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
So starting at number 10 from LJN in 1986, Bionic 6. Do you know what that is?
Only from watching the Toy Federation videos, I've heard them in passing, but no,
Okay.
I don't.
I'm from the 80s, and
Okay.
I don't know what that is. Evidently, it was a cartoon about a family of machine-enhanced human beings, each possessing unique powers after being augmented with bionic technology.
Wild.
Sounds crazy generic to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So looking at the figures, they look like just every Lucy in the bottom of a 50-cent bin.
okay.
I guess they were made of metal. And so that was
like die cast?
yeah.
Okay.
So that was kind of like the appeal, or was supposed to be the appeal then, but nobody cared or nobody wanted it. So I guess now people are like just interested in the fact that it's die cast and there's like a family team.
Weird.
I guess
okay.
that there's like a little bit of like a Fantastic Four kind of vibe
Kind of
to
got
it.
some anime vibes to it also.
Probably a Japanese production of the cartoon, I would presume. So currently the Grail figure is the Mules, MULES, Mobile Utility Energizing Station, which I think is a play set. No, it's a van. It's a vehicle.
Oh no, it doesn't look like anime. Never mind.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Grail from Bionic Six is the Mules van, and it last sold on eBay for $1,500.
Okay.
This was like breaking my brain that there's stuff I've literally never even heard of, and there's other people out there that are like, I would pay $1,500 for that van.
That's crazy. I'm looking at some of these toys and I'm like, I can see because I'm like they're not toyetic.
They look
really?
generic as hell to
Yeah,
me.
they're generic and like I mean, like the main guy.
But
looks
look up
cool.
the van is sick. Look up the
Okay.
Mules van. The van actually does look sick. And I've until I put together this list, I've never even heard the words
sick.
Bionic 6 put together.
Yeah.
Which is like crazy how many vintage toy stores I'm in, and maybe I just didn't notice because I don't care, but I've never even heard of it.
Sure.
Coming in at number 9 from Hasbro, also in 1986, Inhumanoids. Have you heard of Inhumanoids?
Not really, no.
I think I've only heard of Inhumanoids because of modern like reproductions,
Okay.
and I might be making that up. That might not be
Maybe.
a
I
real
don't think
thing.
that's a thing.
Inhumanoids is a dark sci-fi.
Oh, I've seen these. Okay, yeah.
A dark sci-fi cartoon where scientists battle monstrous subterranean threats, often melting into their grotesque, monstrous forms. It really just sounds like the 80s trying to capitalize on gross stuff for kids.
Yeah.
I guess they were just huge monsters.
They're big. Yeah, that's these.
Does one of them look like Man-Thing?
Yeah, one of them looks like Man-Thing, kind of,
Yeah.
and then the other one is like a giant dinosaur that's like got his rib cage showing.
So-
I think people who were around at the time definitely know what this one is.
So the reason that it has made like a comeback is because they are just big monsters.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's really a direct love for Inhumanoids, but I think people found them and thought these monsters look cool and I like monsters. So the one that looks like Man-Thing, which is 14 inches tall, is the Grail, and that one last sold for somewhere between $700 and $750.
Crazy.
In box. Which there might be people out there using that as a stand-in for Man-Thing, because it honestly looks like plagiarism to me.
14 inches is pretty big too.
Yeah, it's huge. Number 8 on the list is from 1990. So this is, I can't believe, like 90. I feel like I know everything that took place in 1990 on like television and on the toy shelves.
Right.
Number 8 is Shadow Strikers, and I haven't got a clue what that is.
Never seen it, never heard of it.
I haven't heard of anybody being interested in the aftermarket. It's a short-lived Kenner line featuring elite agents equipped with transparium vehicles, which are transparent plastic toys that could appear to vanish. Figures transformed in response to temperature changes.
Okay.
Which that sounds cool. They don't look cool at all.
Yeah.
They are knockoff Transformers made of clear plastic, which they look really, really boring and lame to me. It's like jets and cars and all the normal kind of vehicles you would expect, stealth bomber, that kind of stuff, and they're clear plastic. It looks like a half attempt at copying Transformers to me.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm getting from it. But the Grail Shadow Striker is the Typhoon Racer vehicle with Lance Heston. That one last sold for $150.
All right, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's doable for you Shadow Strikers fans out there. Number 7, I'm very familiar with, the Toxic Crusaders. We talked about this on our R-rated episode. I watched this cartoon. I played the video game. On the video game, on Sega Genesis, I accidentally figured out the God code.
Okay.
So the code options, I guess, were 1 through 0 and then A through Z, right?
Okay.
And they're laid out in a straight line. And I just did like first, last, second to last, third to last as just like a guess. Unlocked everything in the game.
Wow.
That was still something that I put on my resume. The Toxic Crusaders was a grotesque environmentalist action cartoon spun off from the Trauma Toxic Avenger films, full of mutant heroes, bio-gore, and echo humor. Like we talked about last week, it is a knockoff of Ninja Turtles. They tried to take the most gratuitous movie imaginable and turn it into a kid's TMNT knockoff.
Okay.
But it doesn't shock me at all that people around my age would have a nostalgia for it, and people that are fans of the movies would probably love the toys too. But the show didn't last that long. It was like just too weird, and it was just a knockoff. So, but the Grail figure is the Apocalypse Attack Copter helicopter, which is like just a giant insect helicopter looking thing. And that one last sold for around $700, which is crazy to me that there's that many people that want it that badly.
That is crazy.
One that I'm actually interested in, number 6, is Battle Beasts. Do you know about Battle Beasts?
Never.
So Battle Beasts are sick. They are a 2-inch anthropomorphic armored animal from Hasbro and Takara. I don't know why 2 companies made it. Each figure featured heat-sensitive chest rub signs, which were fire, wood, and water, for a rock, paper, scissors battle game. The line also included pullback vehicles, transforming bases, and later Japan-exclusive laser beasts with crystal orbs instead of rubs. So you would get them like 2 at a time or 4 at a time.
Okay.
And they were like little homies, except for they were like biped lions and
That's what I'm looking at right now. I'm like, I recognize the logo, but man, I've never seen these toys.
And then they had a little hologram on their chest, and you couldn't see it until you like put your thumb over it or like heated it up.
Gotcha.
And then it would reveal either fire, wood, or water, right? So then you could play against your friends. I don't know if the goal was to like take theirs if you win, but it was definitely like a battle kind of thing going on. And it just didn't really take off like Pogs. But I thought they were really cool, and they were like, you could go to school with like 9 of them in your pocket and no one would know.
Cool.
Right? Because they were so small. And I don't think it ever had a cartoon or anything. I think it just was a toy line and nothing else. Which is, we're not going to talk about too many things where that's the case.
Yeah.
Right? Like Joseph was talking about the OG G.I. Joes. There was not a cartoon in the whenever those first ones were coming out. That's a rare thing. And then the grail of this is the Series 1 2-pack with the horny toad and the grizzly bear. I think when I was looking on like Google, that's really one of the only ones you can find images of. Like in box. Mm-hmm. And that last sold graded. This was graded at an 85 for $1,395.
Dude.
So go to Dallas Vintage Toys, get you one of those.
Yeah.
Number 5, I actually looked this up. I had no clue what it was, and I'm actually pretty interested in it.
Okay.
Now that I've looked at it. Number 5 from Playmates in 1994 is Skeleton Warriors. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's a just made up dark fantasy action line based on a horror inflected animated series. Skeleton heroes and villains battle for control of the post-apocalyptic world. It's just a war of skeletons.
I love it. I'm looking at Prince Lightstar.
Mm-hmm.
Comes with a sword and a gun, which is so sick.
Dude, they look really cool.
The packaging looks amazing.
They have some have like a pirate aesthetic, some have like a medieval aesthetic.
Please,
thank
you.
The package is just a big skull. I fully understand how this would have a current aftermarket.
Okay.
It just looks really, really cool.
Dude, give me this in like a movie with like that same kind of dark fantasy like overglow filter on it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It kind of makes me think of Army of Darkness.
A little bit.
And so I guess it didn't work because it was just too creepy. Like for 1994, and I can tell you, in 1994, moms weren't putting up with any stuff. They were not putting up with stuff. The Grail figure for this from Series 1 is Aracula, and that one last sold for $250. So, if everything else is less than that, you can get you some Skeleton Warriors. Okay, here we start getting to the stuff I'm definitely familiar with.
Okay.
1986, number 4, Centurions.
Heard the name.
And that one is also seeing like an aftermarket, or not an aftermarket, like a reproduction resurgence as well. So it was a bold 80s sci-fi line centered around cyborg heroes Max, Ray, Jake Rockwell, and Ace McCloud, equipped with power extreme modular exosuits. I think this is really plain and stupid. I personally don't get Centurions. It's just dudes with suits on, and they're like wearing like Lego suits, and you can plug other stuff into the Lego holes. But like that doesn't seem like enough to me to like really like be interesting or like take off. But evidently, it's huge.
To be fair, if you were just found some in a bucket, you'd probably be fired up on it. You know what I'm saying? Outside.
Like right now?
Well, not right now, but like back then.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess. The Grail one is the Power Extreme, Extreme spelled with an X, as you would expect. Power Extreme Orbital Interceptor playset. That last went for $500.
Yikes.
$500. And then number 3, SilverHawks. I think everybody's probably familiar with SilverHawks if you're listening to this. It's a metallic space-faring superhero team from the makers of Thundercats, featuring bionic heroes like Quicksilver, Stillheart, and Bluegrass, each paired with a mechanical weapon bird and swift aerial play features. I remember being a kid and seeing SilverHawks and thinking to myself, I'd just rather be watching Thundercats. As a kid.
From what I've heard, it's sort of like in the same universe,
It's
right?
the same animation company.
Okay.
It's very, very in line with Thundercats. It's like the formula of Thundercats, but it's silver people with birds, and it's not cats. So it's not as cool, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The reason that it didn't work out is it just sort of arrived when Thundercats and G.I. Joe and Transformers already existed. Like you only have so much time before school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and from what I've seen about them now, I think one of the biggest things is the, and you kind of wrote about it in your notes, which is the like metallic paint that they would use.
Yeah. And,
You know?
and honestly, everything in the 80s was chrome, and I'm still a sucker for pretty much everything that's like that chrome font. The WWF logo, the Tonka logo, the Bigfoot logo, like anything like that, I'm still like a sucker for it.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
so I do get it for sure. The Grail SilverHawks is the ultrasonic Quicksilver from Series 2. That one last sold for $2,400.
Crazy.
That's wild to me because honestly, I've never met a SilverHawks fan. I've never talked to someone and they said, you know what I'm super into? SilverHawks.
So, when we went to the Chemical Toy Fair, we saw the dude that goes to our gym that never talks to us.
Is that what he was looking for?
He was wearing a SilverHawks t-shirt.
He was.
I literally just unlocked that.
I'm going to make him talk to me.
That's a good idea.
I'm going to make him talk to me. I'm
Which
going to say I got 2 questions for you, pal. 1, why do you have a Caesar haircut? And 2, what's up with SilverHawks?
He might be listening. No, I'm kidding. But that's crazy though, because I'm like, he doesn't seem that old. So like,
yeah, oh yeah, weird. It's from '87.
So
an older brother or something. Dad got him into it.
It's gotta be like the plug. He had a plug.
Yeah. Number 2 from Coleco. We're now seeing Coleco pop up on the show more often.
Mm-hmm.
Coleco from 1985, Sectors. A unique sci-fi fantasy line featuring humanoid insect warriors and their insectoid companions in a genetically altered world. Each figure came with telebonded insects, creating a one-of-a-kind aesthetic and backstory. That sounds like a winning idea to me. But then when you look at the figures, you're like, oh, yeah, no, they just look realistically like bugs. Like, when I was a kid, I didn't want to play with cockroaches.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't the vibe I was going for. Like, I wasn't interested in grasshoppers. So, the Sectors Grail is the Hive playset Battle Fortress with Mutant Guardians. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
And that
I've seen that before. It's got the puppets. It has like a spider puppet, I think.
Okay.
And then I think it has like a snake puppet or a finger puppet that's like literally like it goes on your finger. And I think that's like, you know, as the Toy Federation guys would say, like that's where the money's at because
the playability.
Well, no, like if you have the Hive set and then if you don't
if
have
you include that,
because the finger puppets, like obviously it's going to be the easiest one to lose. But
the description of the Hive set is an ambitious, larger scale set featuring trapdoors, collapsible bridge, heavy weaponry, and puppet guardian creatures.
Yep.
It blends playset. What is this word?
Multi-dimensionality.
Nice. With pure nostalgia spectacle. Last sold for $475.
Okay, that's pretty cheap, I think.
For a giant playset?
For a playset, especially from
like
the
vintage?
80s. Yeah. But you know, with Sectors, I think they're actually being remade because I've seen brand new ones in Walmart, I think.
Oh, really?
I believe so.
I mean, it's number 2 on this list. That means that there's a big demand for it.
Okay.
And, like, SilverHawks is hugely in reproduction.
Okay.
And the number 1, which is like I thought was pretty obvious, is The Adventures of Indiana Jones, the original Kenner 1982-1983 ones, the 3.75s, based on Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it kind of makes sense that it didn't take off to me also because it was one movie that really I don't remember. I wasn't there. I don't know if it really blew up in the moment or not, but it wasn't Star Wars. And in 82 and 83, everyone wasn't going to put down Star Wars to pick up Indiana Jones. You know what I mean? So it makes sense that it didn't really take off. It also makes total sense that Indiana Jones became what Indiana Jones became, and now everyone's like, I need those. So there's a ton of those collectors out there, which makes total sense to me. The grail for this is the Arabian horse, carded with tack and galloping action. And the horse last sold for approximately $400 to $500 sealed.
Wow.
And I do think Dallas Vintage Toys has a bunch of those graded.
Okay.
I think. I'm pretty sure they have some.
I would imagine it's pretty similar where there's probably, you get the figure, but then if it doesn't come with like the whip or whatever, the whip is probably where the money's at, like that type of stuff, or like whatever he's wearing.
Hat.
All that business, yeah.
All right. So yeah, that is the 10 biggest, flops at the pegs that became powerhouses. If we left something off the list, let us know at Mighty Champions. Let's get to the news.
Well, LexCorp's going down. Whether it's me or Superman, who does it?
If it's Superman, that makes it news, and I'll be happy to print it.
This week in the news, we actually got a little bit more going on than we've had in the last handful of weeks. I'm going to be a little bit scattered here because I just kind of save stuff on Instagram and I don't necessarily categorize it. Mm-hmm. So one thing I saw that was really that I was really interested in is there is a collection of Mortal Kombat games coming out. Like they've been doing these like retro throw 10 games into one pack kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And they're doing Mortal Kombat and it's going to have the first 4 games, some PlayStation games, some Game Boy Advanced games. It looks really cool, but one like the ultimate set comes with a giant Goro statue.
Whoa. Which
is actually like dope.
That's cool.
Like I think it's really cool. And I think you can pre-order that. The pre-orders end August 31st on that. There is what was announced earlier this week from Marvel Legends, the Iron Man Extremis 2-pack. Did you see that?
I saw it, could care less about it.
Booty. Yeah. Absolute booty. The Iron Man with the Iron Man helmet on, pretty good Iron Man. But there's no shortage of pretty good Iron Mans. The Mandarin, terrible. Like, just absolutely terrible. But if you...
That may as well be like Morbius or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It has the same vibe.
If you're interested in that, go get her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this is, but I think it's really cool. Loose Collector, the Crypt Skookum, which is like Bigfoot.
Whoa.
It's like a giant Bigfoot. It's a Yeti / Bigfoot. I don't know what Loose Collector is. I don't know what the Crypt is.
Me either.
But if you just like monsters,
that's cool.
It's really cool looking. And I think that it is available at Big Bad Toy Store. Mattel showed off the Masters of the Universe Masterverse Mossman, and that one looks really good. That goes up for on Mattel Creations on Tuesday. So I guess if you're listening to this tomorrow. We got the McFarlane Wolverine statue. That one looks really good. All those McFarlane statues look really good. They're just incredibly overpriced. We've got a Mondo Slash from TMNT. Looks great. Mondo does a great job with those figures. We have got a NECA TMNT Mirage Comics Raphael as Shredder. I've never read the Mirage comics, so like whenever I see these figures, I always go, that looks really, really cool. I don't get the reference personally, but if you do read the Mirage comics, I can imagine you're having a blast with these figures. They also showed off a character from those same Mirage comics from NECA that's called Nobody, which I'm not familiar with Nobody, but I think the figure looks awesome. He kind of looks like Noob Saibot from Mortal Kombat. Let's see. We've got a Bane from Mafex that looks like the Nightfall comic book version of Bane. McFarlane, up on Entertainment Earth right now, announced a 2-pack with Joker and Harley Quinn, and it's the Mad Love looks with like the tuxedo and like kind of origin Harley Quinn. It's almost the Harley Quinn I was asking for that doesn't exist in Batman the Animated Series. So that's got to be massively exciting for a lot of people. Also in Marvel Legends news, we'll probably spend some time talking about this. The Deadpool Maximum series. What are your thoughts on that?
I think we were trying to predict what the next Maximum character was going to be, and I think one of us said Deadpool.
Yeah.
Because we were thinking, okay, they're going for the heaviest hitters. I was like, really? Because I feel like he just came out with a Deadpool figure like not that long ago. It looks cool.
I think I'd still go back and get the Marvel Legends Twebez Deadpool, one of my favorite figures of all time, because it's kind of like not a rip off of that, but he came with whatever the little green guy's name is. But it looks cool. I mean, like, comes with a lot of hands, that's for sure, and some chimichanga type thing. I don't know. I gotta be honest. It's kind of like that's cool.
So you know that I started buying the Maximum series with Spider-Man.
Correct.
Because it's Spider-Man.
Yes.
And I couldn't live without
Probably
it.
one of the best Spider-Man figures of all time.
In my opinion, it's the best Spider-Man figure of all time. Mm-hmm. So I was really stoked on the Maximum series. And then I got the Hulk, and I was excited but less excited.
In the box right now.
Because I don't have anywhere to display it. But I do like it a lot. And then I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I'm a Maximum completist or not. Mm-hmm. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Then I saw this Deadpool. I'm not.
Ooh.
There's nothing wrong.
We need the sound effect of like...
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It looks really good. It looks comic accurate. It's got 2 heads. It's got 3 guns, and I think the first time I've ever seen an AK-47 with a Marvel Legend, it's got some green dude named Glue. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's got a dynamite and a chimichanga and about 50 hands. But I have the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave one on the shelf right here that has a taco and guns and swords that are actually long, and it looks comic accurate. I don't see a reason where I would spend $60 to replace that figure with this. I would say if you need a Deadpool and you don't have a Deadpool, then 1,000% this would be the Deadpool to get, unless it costs more than the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure one does on eBay.
Or just the Deadpool on card, the Uncanny X-Men thing, that retro card that you have up here. Like
that one is probably nearly impossible to get at this point.
Yeah, okay. Well, then I'm like, yeah, take your pick, Yeah. And I'm like, last time I checked, I don't need that many hands. But the hands were the first thing I noticed, and I was like, okay, like...
I think that the Maximum series is aimed directly at figure photography.
That's fair.
I think that's my perception is that figure photography guys, they need these. They're going to be swapping stuff out. They're going to be doing different poses. They're going to be doing scenes and whatever figure photography guys do that I love looking at on the internet. So I think that's where they're kind of aiming at with that stuff. Does it make it $60?
No. God.
No. Another point of interest, not really figure related, but I think you guys would want to know this. The Tobey Maguire suit from Spider-Man 2 is going up for auction.
Wow.
And bidding will begin at $50,000 on that. So definitely get your bids in there. They're going to start on September 4th. So any of you
listeners out there that wants to buy a Spider-Man suit, go for it. Sold to the man with 0 hose.
McFarlane showed off another Batmobile.
Yeah. The
Rebirth one. Yeah. Cool.
It looks cool.
It does look cool. I hope there's somebody out there that has like a shelf that's just a garage of nonstop Batmobiles.
They're big, so you need a big shelf for it.
I think it's really cool. I didn't even know that there was a crowdfunding going on for a Masters of the Universe playset, but there was, and it got backed.
Okay.
The Snake Lair was crowdfunded. They got the 6,000 people that they needed. So up next is Tier 2, so it's still live. So if you guys are MOTU guys, go take a look at that. McFarlane showed off another Batman because they be doing that.
Well, it's a rebirth Batman. So
yeah,
I'm assuming that's supposed to go. It looks good.
Go in that Batmobile.
It actually looks like they gave it more like articulation.
Yeah,
and it looks more comic accurate.
Yeah.
It's not a head that you reuse or just a body that they repaint.
Right, dude. Dying Days McFarlane is kind of killing it.
Turning the jets on a little bit.
Yeah, which is, I think, like, historically this is what toy companies do. But, like, have they ever put out this much product and this much good product?
Mm-hmm.
It like, basically you can track the day that they announced Mattel was going to take the license. McFarlane was like, crack their knuckles and be like, watch this.
Yeah.
This one's really interesting to me. So I've been tracking this. We talked about this on the news a long time ago that Boss Fight Studios was going to make Hellboy figures. Well, they put out actual images of them today, and they look freaking great. It's from the comic book, so they have kind of comic booky dimensions. Okay. There is an actual Hellboy, there's a Lobster Johnson, and there's a Grigotch, the Wild Hunt. He's like a boar guy.
Sick.
They look really detailed. They look like just fun. They look like really, really fun toys. Here's the rub.
Always.
$65 each. That caught me really off guard because really my only interaction with Boss Fight Studios is their wrestling figures, which were like 21, 22, and just plentiful at GameStop. $65. Like, what are we doing? And they're 6-inch scale. They're 1/12.
Dude, oh my God, man. Don't see that right there is going to continually mess up the market because people probably are going to maybe, I don't know. Hopefully there's like a pitchfork kind of scenario with this. I'm curious what the comments say about that.
I think actually, you know what? We could take a look.
Let's do some live reading and some comments.
I think that Hellboy has such a rabid fan base that people will pay it.
But dude, that is so wild. To me, it's just like it's a perversion of all things holy.
So the top comment on Boss Fight Studios says $60 for each and no jacket for Hellboy. And Boss Fight Studios commented, said the coat is coming as a separate purchase. More news to follow soon. Yo.
Pulling the old McFarlane. We're going to do a platinum version of it.
They gave that same answer to multiple people.
Good.
Yeah. A couple people on here said, this person says, definitely pre-ordering, just hoping I can find a trench coat that'll fit him, a much more affordable option to the 1,000 toy versions. And they, again, responded to that. So that seems to be most people's main concern is the coat. So they're just intentionally nickel and diming. That's, man, I will be upset if I find out somebody contributed to this business practice. Because then you are greenlighting them to continue doing it.
And then you're going to have, again, they're already doing it.
Yeah.
Marvel Legends, they're already being like, okay, let's see, how can we milk as much money as possible?
Yeah. Disappointing. But let's shift gears to something positive and get to our failure to launch.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
The Batmobile and the Justice League thing that McFarlane was doing.
Yeah.
I think that got fully funded, but it was cheap because it was $180 or whatever for
What world are we living in where McFarlane Toys is by far the most reasonable and honestly probably the most quality for the last 6 months, for 2025?
Yeah, it was 150% funded the last time I looked at it.
Yeah,
which is it's cool because obviously I love.
Actually, the figure line that's killing it the most is Street Fighter. That's if we do year-end awards, Street Fighter gets Best Figure of the Year for sure. But McFarlane is not doing bad at all. But yeah, let's get to our failure to launch figures.
Who can stop Psycho? Max Steel. Infused with in-tech super strength, he's the world's strongest, coolest secret agent.
Max, Psycho has hijacked the spy satellite control. Your mission, scale Mount Shamazu.
No problem.
Full in-tech strength needed.
Got it.
Rocket cycle in place. Cross gorge. Convert to missile launcher. Retake control.
Take it to the max. Max Steel.
MX-4 Rocket Psycho vehicle comes with missiles, mountain attack, Max Steel, and Psycho. Figures eat so separately.
All right, what failure to launch is very similar to the flops that we did earlier, except for that they are personal to us. Mm-hmm. The figures that we actually had or wished would have continued for whatever reason. We don't know each other's lists, so we're just kind of going to go through these and kind of explain. I've got an amazing personal story to tell about one of these.
Okay.
But I'm going to start with a modern toy line. Oddly enough, starting lineup.
Okay.
So I know you're not really a sports fan outside of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Were you privy to the fact that the starting lineups were happening at all?
Yeah, I used to see them a bunch at KB Toys, but I literally never thought twice about it.
The old ones.
The old ones, yeah. And then Bryce, the guitarist for my band,
one of the guitarists, he'll buy like OG like Cardinals type stuff, and it's like, it's for some reason, even as a baseball fan today, like it doesn't really register with me. But
so I never had them as a kid. Wasn't interested in them at all. The only reason I even knew or cared about them was from Home Alone, because it's like what he like sets them up on the laundry thing and shoots them.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so in 2022, Hasbro was bringing them back with modern articulation and modern scale and modern technology. They were going to have Nike and Adidas licenses, and they were going to wear. They started off with basketball, and they did a wave with, I want to say, 6 figures. It was like LeBron James and Giannis and Steph Curry and maybe Luka, and it's this LeBron James that I have. It's the body that's the buck for Gambit that we have complained about. But when this was coming out, I was really, really excited about it. Here's the problem. They launched them with a hologram card inside and a code to get an NFT card, like trading card.
Yeah. This is what year is this?
2022. NFTs were dead in 2022, and they said, "No, we're bringing them back." So they also didn't go to retail. They were only fan channel, right? So Hasbro Pulse was like the only way you were going to get them, so no one knew about them because basketball fans are not on Hasbro Pulse. And because of the NFT, the starting price point was $70 each.
Oh, God.
And then they saw the error of their ways and they pulled the NFT out of it. They dropped it down to like 50 and they moved a little, and then they ended up at Ross. Like, I think I got this LeBron James on Hasbro Pulse on like a super sale for like $15 or $20. And I was really, really hoping they were going to do football and baseball and hockey, and because I was like, man, if this goes on and on and on, imagine a shelf covered in your city across all sports, or imagine your team, your football team, and it's the legends only. You get your favorite quarterback, your favorite running back, put together the team, or your all-star team. Imagine your baseball team and you're like, this is the left fielder, this is the pitcher. It had so much potential, and they just absolutely screwed the pooch right out of the gate. The figures are great. Not for Gambit, but for basketball players. Yeah. The figures are great. I just really wish that would have taken off.
It's so niche.
Yeah.
I even heard, like, I remember watching like a Dallas Vintage Toys YouTube video where they even said like they're like very picky on how they take starting lineup toys.
The old ones?
The old ones. Because it's just like
they've been played with.
Or there's just like kind of a market for them.
Yeah.
And not really.
So well, they're almost like cards. Who is the player? Right? Like, do they matter? Yeah. All right, what do you got?
So the first one I've got here, by the way, how many do you have on your list? Just
5.
Okay, so I've got about the same. First one I've talked about before when we talked about like building a toy line or like resurrecting a toy line. So my first one is going to be Max Steel, and again, like I even look back in hindsight, and I can almost say that I'm just like, why did I like these so much? Which is really weird to me because I don't look at any of the toys in my past in that same way.
And wonder why you liked it.
And like, I remember specifically watching the show, but there was a little bit of, I don't have cable and this is the only thing on.
Yeah.
There's a
lot of stuff that I liked as a kid because there just wasn't another option.
Exactly. And I think that's what Max Steel was for me. And then once I think my friends started getting them, then it became more of like a chase. It was a thing, and it was like, oh crap! Like now I gotta get these. Funny enough that you're wearing these Wolverine claws right now as I'm speaking. There was a tiger stripe like kung fu version of him. You know, they were 12-inch, like Barbie doll. They were like Ken dolls essentially.
Yeah.
Like Hasbro had leftover Ken dolls and just decided like,
give it a gun.
We need like give it a gun. But there was like one where he came with Wolverine. There were 4 though.
Oh yeah.
But it was a cool toy, and The vehicles were awesome. There was a massive jet that, again, was probably 2 feet tall because it had to fit a 12-inch figure inside of it.
Sick.
The car did that. The jet did that. The boat did that. So those are probably ones that I think it only lasted from like 99 to 2001.
Okay.
But I can look back and I can see why it died. Like it was, I think it got tried to like revamp back in like 2013. Looked god awful. I didn't even know that. I just, in a deep dive, I saw them and I was like, dude, these are trash. But Max Steel.
Okay. Love it. I think this one, I was telling you this week, I had one I think is going to blow your mind when you find out that it existed.
Hit me with it, bro.
I'll be disappointed if you already knew about it.
Okay.
James Bond Jr. Do you know about this?
Okay. I've heard the name in passing, but bro, that is so funny, man.
I was a massive James Bond Jr. fan for
You've never talked about
for
this.
11 minutes.
Okay.
So it was a cartoon.
Yeah.
And it like you're saying with Max Steel, it was just on before school.
Oh, before school?
Or like reruns or
Okay.
whatever, right? Like because I vividly remember, and this is why I chose it for this list.
What year was this?
91.
91. Okay. What channel did it come on?
I couldn't even tell you.
Okay, so
I couldn't even
I'm trying
tell
to think about it. I'm like, man, I don't think I've ever seen like a trailer for it or anything like that.
I vividly remember being in 3rd grade and being on recess and talking to Charlie Sanders and being like, can you believe what happened on James Bond Jr.? And this co-3rd grader was like, what are you talking about? No one but me was watching this.
Whoa.
And I thought for sure, because Ninja Turtles and Power, or like whatever else, if I was into it, everybody was into it. Right? I just thought everyone's having this shared experience of watching James Bond Jr., obviously. It like, gonna blow your mind again. It's his nephew.
Okay. I was about to ask, where does this come into play?
It's James Bond's nephew, and really all it is capitalizing on the name of the license and just making a 90s neon gadget action time.
Okay.
And then like you have, if I remember correctly, like a knockoff Jaws and a knockoff Baron Zemo, and they just were kind of loosely using the license and trying to manufacture toys out of a cartoon using a name that people knew. And you can't make the like womanizing James Bond into that, so they made James Bond Jr.
Dude, the name, it cracks me up.
It's hilarious.
So, like, I'm asking myself, like, couldn't you have but because it wasn't British, right? The kid wasn't British.
I don't have a clear recollection of it. Well, I want to say it was like American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, why didn't you do it of like the adventures of Jimmy Bond or something like that? Like,
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know, rather than James Bond Jr. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sounds like a NASCAR driver.
That's what I'm saying, James Bond Jr. Junior?
Yeah.
Come get your gadgets out.
Yeah, wild stuff, dude. Wild stuff.
Amazing.
But that was the reason I put it on this list. That's the first time I can ever... Like, I knew no one was watching wrestling but me. But I didn't know everybody wasn't watching James Bond Jr. When Charlie didn't want to talk to me about it, I was devastated.
I love it. I love it. 91, right?
91.
Okay, that's funny. Okay, the next thing that I've got on my list here, I'm pulling it up really quick here. Batman Beyond.
Ooh, okay.
So Batman Beyond, I think, so at the same time, there was...
This is like the third Batman Beyond conversation I've had this week. That's really weird. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Some destiny.
Yeah, there's something going on with Batman Beyond.
So Batman Beyond was cool, and I did like it. I did not love it. And I'm almost certain that there was a point where WB was replaying episodes of Batman, the new Batman Adventures, and then after that, Batman Beyond would come on.
but I would rather watch the new Batman Adventures. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, for some reason, but I did love it. I would watch it. And one thing that I recognized too that happened is that it was like they only had like 5 episodes out, and it would only ever show like the same 5, and I would be like, okay, well, I'll watch it again because there's nothing else to watch, and Arthur comes on at 4:30. You know what I'm saying? And this one was 3:30, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching it, and I just remember it kept playing the same episodes over and over and over again. But the toy line and the show only lasted, I think, 2 seasons. If I'm being, I might have to deep dive on that.
That sounds about right. Because it really feels like it came and went.
Yeah. So, or maybe 3 seasons. Yeah. But the toy line ran from 1999 to 2001.
No way.
Yeah. And it was, I'm pretty sure it was Mattel. It may have been Hasbro at the time. It was Hasbro Kenner is what it was saying.
Okay.
But yeah, they were 5-inch figures. I remember specifically getting a Batman Beyond action figure for my birthday. And the carting looks sick. Getting it for my birthday, being super fired up on it, and then having a birthday party. And the first present that I opened was the same exact toy. So I had to pretend like I was...
Oh, we've all been there.
I know, man.
We've all been there.
Darn it. So I had 2 Batman Beyond toys, and of course I used them as like a,
evil doppelganger?
It would be a doppelganger, somebody trying to steal that. But I will say, though, I think one of the... I probably would rebuy that figure now. Like, if I saw it in passing. I only need that, because to be honest, I'm really not that big of a fan of the villains of Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
They were hard to kind of attach myself to. And apparently they didn't make a ton of the villain like action figures.
Batman Beyond, the character, lives in this really weird space that, like, I can't think of another character who has this same pseudo foothold. The show didn't pop, and the character won't go away. He's not James Bond Jr.
Yeah.
People know who Batman Beyond is. He's not going to be in the video game, but he'll be a skin that you can put in the video game.
I think there's a bigger fan base.
He's not the title of the comic book, but it'll be cool if he pops up.
No, they have their own Batman Beyond comic lines.
That, like, has run for, like, a long time?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about right now, but I remember specifically buying some, even in the launch of Rebirth.
Yeah. I don't know. He just seems like this almost popular character.
I want to say maybe it was because, like, at the time you had to have been, 13-ish, 14, maybe?
Probably,
2001.
yeah. I already had, like, because Batman had turned into Adventures of Batman and Robin, I had already just given up.
So
on that.
I think...
And it's before Justice League.
Right. I think actually Justice League is what kind of killed it a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that, that came out. But looking back, I can respect it a lot more, being a massive Blade Runner fan. There's a lot of Blade Runner influence of that sort of neo-noir.
For sure, I could see that.
I also think that the episode, I want to say at the end of Justice
The movie
League,
is really popular, too.
Yeah. Like, whatever it's called, of the Joker.
Return of the Joker.
Something like that. But the Justice League episode where Terry McGinnis is in that one, that's a really, really, really good episode. I love that one. But yeah, I think if I were to, expand a little bit, I love the DC Universe Classics toy. I definitely want to get that. But the Batmobile, like the Batplane thing that he has, freaking awesome.
That is on shelf at Target right now. Like, I think it's McFarlane.
It is McFarlane.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's cool. That's tempting.
Okay, my next one. This is really just like I don't actually have a recollection of, like, the details of what this was even about. I just have a very vivid memory of what it looked like. Have you ever heard of SWAT Cats?
Never.
SWAT Cats is 2 cats, T-Bone and Razor.
Sick.
And they're cats that have an airplane. It's like Top Gun vibes, or like.
So where's SWAT come into play?
That's just cool.
Okay.
They're like military army cats with a sick jet, and they go on action adventures. It's like a real action oriented show about, like, these tough guy cats.
Sick.
Like, I don't remember any of the bad guys or any of the details. And there was one season. This is 1994, and that's it. They just died right there.
Wow.
The toys are, at least from my memory, a good representation of what it looked like. And I really thought that show had legs. Like, I might have been the first... That might have been the first show where I was, like, bummed that something stopped. Like, I noticed it stopped and was, like, bummed about it. But, yeah, I think, like, SWAT Cats is cool. If they revived it, I'd watch it, like, today.
Yeah.
And the figures were, like, good enough. So if the show had taken off, there would have been more figures, and I would have been a big contributor.
Interesting. That's that's wild, man. So we even had this conversation about, talking about this segment of the episode and how I didn't really notice that things ended. It just was like it appeared before me and I loved it, and then time went on,
I don't know. I had a sense of, I don't know if it's a business sense. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm uncovering that I was born with a business sense.
Yeah.
But like, I always had this notion. You know what it honestly is? It's probably because I'm a wrestling fan, and I noticed that I was the only wrestling fan on God's green earth when I was a kid. But I always had this feeling that if other people didn't support a thing, then the thing would go away. So I wanted it to continue. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. All right, my next one is going to be one that I brought up to you. And so this one's funny. So it's based off of a TV show. Never seen an episode in my life. Have no idea where it aired. No idea really until I did the research on it to see who made it. But a long time ago, I went to my aunt's house. And I don't know where it was. For all I know, this could have been a dream. But for anybody who's a fan of liminal space and like those types of videos on Instagram that you see, like the very liminal kind of like childhood dream-like places, this house was very, very liminal. Like, in fact, right now what I'm seeing in my brain is just like crazy, crazy level of liminal space. But being there, it felt like it must have been midnight. And I remember going into a back room, and there was a Mystic Knights toy.
Those words sound like they mean something, but I have no idea what's going on.
Exactly. I didn't know the name of it. I think it was the main character, which I'll pull up here in a second, but it was amazing. There was two of them. One that was like red and gold, and the other that was like blue and gold. And I was like, oh my God, what did I just stumble on? And for the remainder of the night that we were there, I don't even know. Again, I don't really remember this as much other than just finding those toys and then just loving them. Like, loving playing with them. Because they were like 8 inches tall. And they came with a big sword. And it was just like, this is everything that I could have ever wanted in my life. Fast forward 30 years or whatever, 20 years, 25 years. We are playing a show in Denton, Texas. And I think in Denton we arrived early. We probably had like 3 hours to kill. And we go to a movie trading company, which my people in Fort Worth and Denton, I think it's called, or it goes by Vintage Stock now, which I think is a bigger chain.
Okay.
So we go in there, one of the most amazing loose figure sections I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I just spent the whole time just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Probably found, 40 figures that I would have bought.
Awesome.
Only one that's ever been good. Every other vintage soccer movie trading company I've gone into has been awful, in terms of like toys and what they have there. But Mikey, our drummer, who featured in our last figure flashback video, finds one of the Mystic Knight toys and comes up and he's like, oh, this is sick. You ever seen this before? And I almost fell to the ground with like war flashbacks. I was like, hold on, wait, I'm seeing
it's something. Real?
It's real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I told Mikey, I'm like, what is that? I know what that is. I'm like, I'm having these like visions, religious visions playing in my brain. And then he goes on a deep dive. I think he Google AIs it or whatever. And then he pulls it up and says, it's Mystic Knights. And then I'm like, okay. So I start like deep diving a little bit into those. But it's Bandai.
Okay.
So
that makes
kind
sense.
of like I think it even it's like it was supposed to be like the next Power Rangers.
Yeah.
The name is Mystic Knights of Tur-Na-Nog, and that's what I said to you, and you're like, I don't even think you spoke English to me right there. But which is a weird name. It's a terrible.
Why is the furniture levitating in here?
Yeah, exactly. But I think it only lasted from like 98 to 99 or something like that. Let me see what that was. Yeah, it came out in 98. Yeah, literally 50 episodes, only one season. And it just ended, Bandai ended the production like really early. I didn't really actually see what their pricing is, like what they go for now. But man, like for some reason it does that, whatever that fateful night in the nexus of all reality.
Dude, that's crazy how just something can get in your brain like that.
Literally.
That's wild, dude. I love that. Okay, my next one, I'm cheating. It's two things, but here's my justification for why I can get away with it. It's two things, but they're both a movie. The movies came out in the same year, and the toys were produced by the same company. Okay, so the movies don't have anything to do with each other, aside from 80s action stars trying to make kids movies. Well, maybe they're not kids movies, but they made toys for them, which is Last Action Hero, and Demolition Man.
Sick.
So Mattel made those figures in 1993, and I can include them because there was only one movie. They absolutely thought that both of those things were going to be a franchise that just didn't go anywhere.
Wow.
And I love still both of those movies tremendously. Story time. In the movie Demolition Man, Sylvester Stallone wears a beret. And he looks fantastic in a beret.
Really quick, is it the one where he like goes up and he's like, "Yeah, I'll get a burger,"
and it's a rat,
and it's a rat burger.
Yeah, so but he's underground. It's like underground rebels, and that's all they have to eat.
Got it.
And Dennis Leary is the leader of the rebels, and he has a long soliloquy about like freedom and running around naked, covered in green Jello, reading Playboy magazine.
So whenever I watched that movie and he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to get a burger," as he said that, I was taking a bite of a hamburger.
Nice.
I was like, huh? Yeah.
So yeah, when I was a kid, I didn't realize that like different clothes and different haircuts look good on different people for different reasons. Mostly movie stars who are good-looking people, and like when you're a child, you're goofy looking. Yeah. I would take Van Damme VHS boxes to the barber and hand them to the barber and go, "Do this, like make me." And then I'd leave disappointed I wasn't as handsome as Van Damme.
Can we capture this moment in time?
So I didn't realize that if I was to get a beret, that I wouldn't be as handsome as Sylvester Stallone. It turns out you need like a jawline, and your neck has to be like bigger than your ears, and like. So, anyways, my mom had asked me, I think for my birthday, what I wanted, and I was like, I want a beret. In 1993, and I can only imagine how puzzled she was by that answer. And so she's like, let's go get you a beret, like right now. And I was like, hell yeah. So we go out, and in my head right now, I'm like, obviously the first place you would go to is the military surplus store.
Okay.
But she hasn't seen this movie. She doesn't know that there are multiple types of beret. She thinks I want to be like an impression of a French guy or something. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't know what's going through her head. So, but she's like she's, to her credit, she's trying really hard to accomplish this, and she's thinking pretty hard. So what she comes up with is to take me to REI.
Okay.
Right?
Could be worse.
Yeah. Not embarrassed to be in there, but as an adult, I'm looking back and being like, well, obviously it's not in there. What she finds is not a black military beret, which, I mean, I realize now still would not have looked good. What she finds is a green felt, like, beret. beret, the kind with the little thing on top.
Oh my
That's like flappy on both sides or like all the way around.
Yeah.
And I guess as a kid I didn't want to like disappoint her, so I didn't like say no to it, like, but I let her buy it and like went home with it, and she was like juiced that she had found my thing for me. That thing went in a drawer and never came out because I would have got whooped at school if I would have wore that thing.
I man, like, we need to develop this screenplay before anybody else does. The idea of you bringing a cover of a Van Damme movie to show that barber, this is what I want, is God. That's the funniest thing in the world. I want to take a little side story because you kind of, what you were saying about you just didn't really piece together like what people look like and then trying on the beret and realizing like, how come I don't look like him?
Yeah.
When I was younger, this was probably, I had to have been like 40 years old, maybe. I don't know. Like, consciousness had maybe found me. But, you know, you're surrounded by cartoons, superheroes. You see what they look like. Well, I used to see my shadow. And my shadow being stretched out long because it was 2:30 p.m. or whatever. And all I saw was this tall, slender, like, champion. But it was my shadow being lengthened by the sun. And I would see the shadow all the time. I would always look at it too, and I'd be like, you know, flex. I would flex and be like, there it is, you know? So I had this image of what I looked like in my brain, which was essentially James Bond Sr. And then one fateful day, I don't know if I'm like brushing my teeth or whatever, because I think I was too small to see myself in the mirror. But my mom gives me like a step stool, and I step up and I look in the mirror and I immediately start crying because I didn't like the way that I looked. Even though that's sad. It sounds sad.
Man, we were having a good time. What the hell?
But that's funny though, because I just started crying because I was like, this isn't the 6 foot tall.
Because you needed a step stool to find out you were.
I just remember sitting there crying and being like, I hate how I look or whatever. Because that actually sounds way more sad now that I'm saying that. Cut. No, I'm kidding. But but it's funny though. Like I look back at that as like, I think that's hilarious.
The delusion of a child.
The delusion of a child thinking that his shadow, because his shadow is tall and dark and handsome, that I am.
Yeah, I can't even tell you how many consecutive haircuts I walked out of there being like, what the heck? And in my head, I was like, he did it wrong.
You're blaming the guy that you don't... I love that.
He cut my hair wrong.
I don't want to go to him anymore.
I don't look anything like Universal Soldier.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
This is BS.
That is amazing. Okay, so the next one on my list, not a super... This one was like a one that I saw like in fractions of a memory, basically. I remember specifically one toy. 2 toys, actually. And this is referencing the Jackie Chan Adventures.
Yes.
So I did like that show a lot. Kind of the same concept, though. It felt like it was the show before the show that you wanted to watch. Mm-hmm. But the fighting was sick. And, you know, I didn't realize until, like, way later that it actually wasn't Jackie Chan voicing the character. Which I was like, huh? Like, because after every episode, Jackie Chan would do, like, a little...
video.
Like a little video clip type thing. And really the only toy that I remember seeing was just like his character wearing like a blue shirt. But I'm looking back at these, doing research last night, and I just see like a huge toy line that I was like, whoa, where were these? You know, I don't even know where I saw the one from before, but they were making like actual Jackie Chan toys, like that looked like him in the cartoon and then looked like him in real life.
Okay.
Which was pretty interesting. And he wore like...
Wait, so it's one line that is based on the cartoon, mm-hmm. but inside of that line there are toys that look like him, like real life?
Like the actual, like, yeah.
Multiple versions of him?
It's kind of strange, yeah.
Is it his movie characters?
Yeah, I mean, he's wearing, like, you know, like the silk, almost like the Bruce Lee type.
Dude, I need to look this up.
Yeah, you should look it up. It's kind of bizarre.
I remember the show, and it was, I think it was on right before or right after something else that I was watching. And I remember being a kid and being like, I like Jackie Chan, but he really didn't have that much stuff that had happened in the U.S. I think it was really just like Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know who he was, really. And it wasn't until I was like much older that I found like Police Story and all his like just dope, Hong Kong stuff.
Yeah, so from like doing research again, I wasn't like super into the toy line because I just really didn't see them. I only saw them maybe like some kid had them. I remember specifically seeing a talisman, which was like basically the premise of the show, that there were 12 talismans that of the Chinese zodiac or something like that they had to like gather, and so they're constantly fighting the same group of bad guys who are trying to get the power of the talismans. But I remember finding a talisman
that honestly sounds like something I want to watch today.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, the fight scenes were really sick, and I just remember seeing like a talisman at the park one time and being like, where do I get that? But I guess reading about it, the toys actually came with the talisman. So it was essentially like collect all 12, basically. That's mine. Don't know if I'd actually buy one today if I saw it, to be honest, but it was a pretty hefty like show for me. Again, not having cable, and you get to see Jackie Chan fight a bunch of dudes. The fighting was so sick.
So I went round and round on my last pick. Some honorable mentions: Bucky O'Hare, which was another animal humanoid space. It's like it was like it's a green rabbit.
The rabbit.
It was like Star Fox or something like that. It was similar to that. Had toys that were cool. I also considered Earthworm Jim, which had started off as a video game, had a cartoon that didn't last that long, and had toys. Another kind of Toxic Crusaders, Ninja Turtles, gross, weird, wacky animal kind of thing. The little known fact, Earthworm Jim, voiced by, his name just evaporated from my brain. The guy who voices Homer Simpson.
Whoa.
Yeah. And what I ended up settling on for my last failure to launch, I don't know if you're gonna ding me for this not being an action figure, but I do think it counts as a toy.
Okay.
Pogs.
You had to explain what.
I had like a year ago. I had to explain to you what Pogs were. So it's a game, but it's little cardboard circles that you buy in packs like trading cards.
By the way, John is telling the story while he's wearing the Wolverine gloves.
I would make sure that I have a captive audience.
Okay.
And you would have, and the reason that I think it applies to failure to launch is because it burned hot for a couple weeks, at least at my school. I don't know about in other people's places, but it was the most popular thing on God's green earth for about a lunchtime.
Wow.
I remember going to a kid's house in 6th or 7th grade, and the only thing he had asked for his birthday was Pogs. And they would come in like, did you ever see the thing that film came in? The little tube? The little plastic tube? It was those, but bigger, like 6 feet tall. But it was the exact same thing.
Whoa.
Tube. And he had 4 or 8 of those filled with Pogs that are like an 1/8 of an inch tall. So what is that? 39,000 Pogs. And it was anything that we've talked about on this show, anything you see in this room, any TV show, movie, cartoon would be on a Pog. Simpsons, whatever. Or just random 8-ball skull, tattoo art, crazy dog, absolutely anything. And then you would have a slammer, which was like a metal disc, and the game was I don't remember the very specifics of how to play the game, but it was like you take your 5 and I put up my 5 and we stack them, and then you take your heavy thing and throw it on top of the stack, and any of the ones that land face up you get to take, right? And then it's gambling.
Yeah.
It's like straight up casino game, right?
Wow.
I would play that right now, just for gigs.
I think did you look it up and see like
they're very inexpensive.
Yeah, it was almost like a perfect line of like almost just
never took off.
It just didn't take off. They manufactured them in an amount where they thought this was going to be around forever.
Okay.
And it just did not.
The way of the Funko Pop, eh?
It just did not take off. But I wish that it had, because I remember like just how much fun that short period of time was, and just like collecting. You know what I mean? Like, it felt in the moment like it was going to go the way of baseball cards, where this one specifically was going to gain value and that sort of thing, right? Like, it just didn't happen. It just, like, didn't go anywhere.
It's interesting because now I'm thinking, like, I wonder if we've ever come across any, or if I've ever come across any at, like, a toy store. And like,
I don't think there's the slightest interest in them. Like, even people around my age, I think they just... Maybe it's come around the corner. Maybe it's going to happen. But I don't think I've ever seen one since that summer.
You know what? I guarantee you that I would say, like, the majority, it's not like a collection. It's probably something they just threw away.
Yeah.
Because they were basically bottle caps or whatever.
They feel in hand like something that you'd be very willing to just toss in the trash.
Wild.
Yeah, because it's just a little piece of cardboard.
That's so crazy, man. All right, so number one for me is pretty funny because... doing research on it and realizing that, excuse me, sorry, I cleared my darn throat, but I think it's still around as far as what I've read about it, which is the Core.
CORPS?
Yes, which at the time I just called the Corpse. Because I didn't know how to read that great, but it is... and was what kind of they refer to as I guess it's been around for a long time. So, like, maybe even from the 80s, 1986, I guess. But for me, I think I found it in the Core Extreme, which I think was 98 to 2007, which makes the most sense of, like, that would have been my era. But they were essentially O-ring, solid body, like 3.75, like essentially just like
G.I. Joes.
Leftover G.I. Joes that they just turned into other characters. What is it, like though? That. It's like
is it a cartoon?
It's like no, I don't think it was a cartoon.
It's just toys.
I think it was what they call a budget G.I. Joe.
Like dollar store G.I. Joes?
Essentially, but I bought them from Walmart.
Okay.
They were 98 cents.
Back then?
At the time, 98 cents.
So you get 1,000 of them?
Dude. And for like one summer...
Whoa, I just invented something.
Okay.
Get super cheap G.I. Joe like size toys and play the game that I just described, which is Pogs, with them.
And then just trade them?
And then I take yours, you take mine, like some kind of war setup.
Dude, that's a heavy stakes game right there.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's some war breakout kind of vibes. Friendship ruiner. But for one summer, so basically what I would do in the toy aisle, obviously I'm going in there, I'm looking at Marvel Legends, because again, they were abundant. There was no such thing as wasn't going to be there. It was just abundant. And I'd always go to the end of the aisle, and Core would be there. The Core would be there. And I'd always like look at them and be like, man, those are sick. They're like 98 cents, and Marvel Legends at the time was probably like $7 or $8 or whatever. But those would always like, they would catch my eye. And then one summer, a couple friends of mine and myself just decided, let's get into the Core. And you could just easily build the army of your dreams for $20. They came with vehicles. The vehicles were sick. They came with boats. They came with like jets and stuff. And like what's crazy about it is that you just take the logo off of a G.I. Joe thing, and then now all of a sudden it's $3 or whatever they were selling.
Yeah, and it's not supported by a cartoon or anything.
Yeah, it wasn't. And so it's like, we just had a blast, and they came with like abundance of weapons. One of the things I loved the most about them is that you could buy like weapons packs, and they were the like plastic square where all the weapons you punch them
out like these Ninja Turtle accessories?
Yeah, literally. But there would be, you could buy like, I think it'd like a 4-pack, but there would be 4 of the same exact things, but they were like a shotgun, like whatever. And dude, I remember buying those and then having like, enough weapons for all my guys.
Yeah.
And one summer, like my friend's house, we
he had like a giant dirt pit type thing. And so we just set up all of the vehicles. Again, it was just like an army base because you could just get all of them. They were cheap. We just put like, we put the hose and made like water because we had their boats and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Man, I remember buying one of those boats that they had a couple of those guys because they were like O-ring style, right? Put them in the boat, and then they still make these, which, you know, you go into the Walmart toy aisle and there's like the fun toys, like the hard plastic toys, like the animals and stuff like that, where I found like a great white shark.
Great.
And it was like, in comparison to the 3.75, I think it was like, I don't know, 12 to 14 inches.
Yeah.
So think about how big that is.
Megalodon.
Yeah. Like, and I remember just like in the bathtub playing with them things. And then I made like, you know, I think there was like some Dove soap in there. And I just like rubbed the soap as much as I could to make the water cloudy. So it was like white cloudy water. But then, yeah, those guys were just on their boat, had a couple of guns, and then just a big freaking shark. Cool thing is the shark was hollow. Yeah. So it could swallow the guys. Dude,
love it.
It was awesome. And I looked a little bit about it. I think they are more, if you do find them anywhere, just kind of reading like what ChatGPT told me, that they might have just like transferred fully over to like a dollar store. So I guarantee like if I went into like a Dollar General or a like Family Dollar toy section, or maybe like Big Lots or something
There's
like
one
that.
across the street.
Yeah, like I might even just see that maybe that's where they kind of like transition to.
Yeah.
But I didn't really do much deep dive on like how much they cost now, like a vintage stuff.
I've never even heard of them. I can't imagine they have like a after. But I also hadn't heard of half the stuff on the list of stuff that's monster on aftermarket.
Yeah, exactly.
So
well, you know,
who the
like,
hell knows?
I mean, we've done this before where we've gone over to Ross during like the holiday season. Yeah. And you know, like those giant military packs that they have that are like $20.
I love those.
Those are so sick. That was the same. So take that same energy.
Just take the U.S. Army patch off of it.
Yeah, well that, and then also like those are just sort of like plastic. They're not like O-ring figures.
Right.
They're like, you know, like kind of really low detail, low quality, but everything else is the exact same. So I mean, to me, like and even my mindset today is the same way, where it's like, man, you give me a 98-cent action figure, but comes with plenty of gun. They look cool.
It's all about that playability and like how it looks, and like if it inspires imagination or not.
Yeah.
Like we want to know your guys' failure to launch figures. Like, I really want to know your guys' failure to launch figures. Like, stuff that you were just super into that just did not go anywhere. So hit me up at Mighty Champions, or you can email it to me, mightychampionsafr@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you guys. Please, please, please leave us a review. It's really going to help us grow, help other people find the show. We would massively appreciate it. And thank you guys very much for joining us, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.
Toxic Crusaders!
The Toxic Crusaders have two new members, Junkyard, a mutation with a taste for doggy bones, and Headbanger, half mad scientist, half party animal. They've joined to keep Dr. Killamoff and Psycho, his cybernetic sidekick with a bionic brain, from polluting and conquering the Earth. Also because good guys get the babes.
You don't have to be toxic to be popular, but it helps.
Toxic Crusaders! They're gross!
But they still get girls.
Hideously deformed action figures from Playmates.